We're going to take a look at a very simple way to create two-dimensional graphics in Java. To create two-dimensional graphics, you need first a canvas object and a JFrame object. We're going to look at that in the code in a second. Now, a JFrame object is the thing that will hold the canvas that you create. The canvas is kind of like where you draw the picture, and then the JFrame can hold that picture, that canvas. A JFrame can also hold, say, a scroll pane. Maybe you have a little window with a scroll bar. Maybe it would hold a little dialog box or something. So the JFrame can hold whatever you want to put in it, whatever kind of graphics object you want to put in it that it's allowed to hold. And again, the canvas, in our case, is just going to be the place where we draw our pictures. So whenever you draw on the canvas, you invoke certain methods that the graphics object has. It has certain objects that are methods that are already part of it, and we can actually invoke those to draw on the canvas. So the graphics object, now this is a little bit different than what we've seen. The graphics object is automatically created when you create the canvas. When you do a new and create a canvas, automatically creates the graphics object. And that is passed to the paint method. We do not call the paint method. Like if you notice down here, we'll jump ahead just a second. I have a main, just like we expect. The name of the class is called drawing. I have a main, just like we'd expect. Starts here, ends here, and I have a paint method. Do you notice we never call the paint method within our code? The paint method is automatically called by something called an event dispatch thread. That's kind of running in the background whenever you create a graphics object. So this little thing is running in the background, and whenever you need to update the canvas or the JFrame on the screen, it's automatically called. So paint gets automatically called. We don't have to call it. If we wanted to call it, we can do a repaint. We can call through repaint, but we won't need to do it in our case. So again, this event dispatch thread calls paint whenever it needs to. In our case, because of the set visible, we tell it to set the frame visible on the screen. It automatically calls paint for us. So let's just look at what's happening here. We're going to try to make a program that draws two circles on the canvas, then displays it on the screen. There's a whole bunch of include files we need to import. So the canvas, we talked about the canvas is just a rectangular area. We define how big we want it to be, and we can draw onto that. The graphics is the thing, that class is the thing that provides all the methods we need for drawing. We can draw lines, rectangles, strings, whatever else we want, ovals, whatever. We're going to use color here, so we're going to pull in the color class, and that provides standard defined colors, and it also provides a way to create your own colors, which we'll look at when we get to the bottom there. And again, the JFrame, this is part of, this AWT is the Abstract Window Toolkit, that's what that stands for, and JFrame is part of something called the Swing package, and you notice it's JavaX Swing, not just Java Swing. And again, the JFrame is the thing that holds the canvas when it's drawn to the screen. Okay, this says public class drawing. So the name of this program is called drawing. And you notice that this is a new keyword, extends. It extends the canvas. The canvas is an object defined up in this Abstract Window Toolkit. And what we're going to do by extending it is we're going to make a new version of Canvas. Canvas basically defines all the standard methods that we need, but we're going to make our own version of Canvas that includes all the methods already provided by Canvas unless we change them otherwise. So drawing extends Canvas by taking what's already in Canvas and making it a little different. So that's my program. It starts here. Again, you always have a main, and main is just like usual. The first thing it does is create the new JFrame. I'm just calling it my drawing. It doesn't, I mean, I'll have that string in there, but it doesn't really matter what we put in there. Okay, so it says, just like we talked about, you create the JFrame object, and that's going to be the thing that holds the canvas. And again, it can hold the canvas, it can hold panels, scroll panes, a few different things that you can put in there, but we're just going to put one canvas in there. Now we create a new drawing object. That's basically the thing we just defined up here. We're creating one. Remember, when you define it, we defined it as a type of a canvas, but we're going to change it a little. And when you do a new on it and actually create it, that's where you're actually allocating space. So remember, the class is like the template for it, or what it provides, you know, the definition of it. But this is where I actually allocate the space for it. So again, I create the object here. So I just created a drawing object, and that's going to be my canvas. just like we said here. It extends the canvas, so here's my canvas. It's named with a lowercase canvas. I could have named it anything I want. I'm naming it with a lowercase canvas. Now, here I'm setting the size of my canvas. It says it's going to be 400 by 400. Again, that's the width and the height, and they're in pixels. I'm setting the background color. The default is gray. I want to set it to white. And when I add this canvas to the frame, that's putting it into the J-frame. Remember we called the J-frame, we just called it frame. It's putting this canvas onto the frame, and this pack is just to make sure it fits, the canvas fits into the frame nicely. As soon as I call set visible with the flag true, it automatically calls the paint method. This is automatically called. You see, I didn't have anywhere in here where I call paint. This thing called the event dispatch thread, which we just talked about, calls paint automatically. And it takes as an argument the graphics object that we created. So down here, I'm going to do a couple of things. First thing I'm going to do is set the color. Now I want the first thing to be red that I'm going to use. I'm going to try to make a circle. I'm going to do that by calling this little method in the graphics object called fill oval. Fill oval makes an oval shape that fits perfectly into a rectangle that is 200 by 200 or whatever size I wanted. If I made it 200 by 300, it would really be an oval. But if I make it 200 by 200, the area that it fits in is a square, so that would end up, the oval would turn into a circle. This 100 by 100 is the X, Y coordinates of where I'm going to start my circle or my oval that I'm drawing. Now on a Java screen, X goes starting here in the upper left corner. It's not like what you're used to in algebra. X starts here, so 0 starts here, and it goes in this direction. This is the positive X direction. Actually, that's the same as what you're used to in algebra, but what's different is the Y direction. Y starts here, just like it normally would, but the positive Y's go down. So if I'm doing 100, 100, 100 on the X, where would that be? Maybe around, I don't know, maybe around here somewhere. And 100 on the Y would be somewhere down here somewhere. So basically it's going to put it right about here. And again, it's going to be a 200 by 200 box that I'm going to fit this oval in. Since it's a square box, it's going to turn into a circle. And it should be a red circle. This thing is creating your own color. The color class lets you create your own colors. And you would think from art it would be red, blue, and yellow, but instead it's red, green, and blue components. So you could play around with that and you can make different colors that you want to try to make. Okay, so I'm setting the color to what I created. It's my own version of purple, not this one. I use the standard version of red. This is using my own version of purple. So I set the color of this new object, and right now whatever I did in the in the graphics method would be my purple. That's what color it would be because I just set it. But I'm going to make another oval. It starts at x5, y5, so that would be x5 starts here, goes maybe about here, and y starts here and goes about here, so it's going to be somewhere up here. It's going to be a smaller circle because it's going to fit in a 50 by 50 square, and it's going to be right up here. So we'll take a look at what that looks like when we run it. And here's the drawing class, the program that I'm going to run. It's in Dr. Java now, so the first thing I do is compile like normal, and it didn't have any errors. Now I'm going to run it, and remember I should see two circles. So I run it, there they are. There's my purple, that's the purple I created. It's not the standard Java purple, because I don't think there is a standard Java purple. We'll have to look at that. And there's the red circle that I made. Remember, 5, 5 started right about here, and the other one was 100, 100 starts right about here, because they're inside of a square. Now remember, I didn't call paint to put that up. It was called automatically. If I do something like this, Java automatically calls paint to resize the window. Okay, and that's all it does.